This is the Fitzgerald Marine Reserve. It's a protected tidal sanctuary just south of Moss Beach in Half Moon Bay. The reserve is home to the California coastal strand ecosystem, tide pools, and coastal salt marshes. The intersection of these three distinct ecosystems creates a unique dynamic of plant and animal life that has been recognized by the state of California to have special biological significance. While portions of these environments are protected from human industry and residents, they are once in danger of being permanently destroyed by commercial hunting and pollution.
Most notably, the reserve is the breeding ground and home for the harbor seal. While these seals were once targeted by humans for their blubber, the passing of the Marine Mammal Protection Act of 1972 prohibited the killing of any marine mammal. Now, the threat to seals is not as direct, but in many ways just as harmful. Human pollution, especially in more urban areas like the San Francisco beaches, damage harbor seal populations, which change the entire ecosystem because seals play a large part in the food chain as a predator. Seals do not migrate throughout the year and spend most of their lives in one region, which makes them more affected by pollution in an area than many of their relatives that migrate. Pollutants and chemicals are absorbed into their blubber and pass from generation to generation through a mother seal's milk. Exposure to these chemicals at such a young age has a significant and lasting effect on the immune system of harbor seals.
Even though pollution in the marine sanctuary itself is well regulated, pollutants in the water from cities to the north and south still affect harbor seals all up and down the California coast. Continued pollution may eventually weaken the immune system of harbor seals so drastically that they will die out from disease.
Another well-known tide pool creature, the anemone, is a predatory coral that feeds primarily on small invertebrates and fish. Anemones are home to a special type of algae that produce glucose and oxygen that the anemone feed on. Pollutants in the water can block sunlight and inhibit the algae from photosynthesizing, which hurts the anemones. Anemones are especially susceptible to pollutants in the water like oil and sludge. These pollutants affect the digestive and immune system of anemones. Because anemones cover a large part of the tide pools, their inability to reproduce greatly affects the plant life of the tide pool environment. Because they're the foundation for much of the life in the tide pools, coral and plant life like algae, kelp, and anemones, which are very susceptible to pollution, are very important to keeping our tide pools alive and functioning.
Another widely recognized tide pool animal, the hermit crab, can also be affected uniquely by pollution. The way the hermit crab moves from shell to shell throughout their lives puts them at a great risk from trash thrown into the ocean. In the past, hermit crabs have been known to mistakenly use trash as shells. Small circular items like bottle caps or lids can be mistakenly used for shells by hermit crabs. Even small articles of trash can greatly affect the lives of hermit crabs. Other invertebrates are affected similarly by small and large articles of trash.
To help combat pollution on our beaches, and specifically our tide pools, we need to regulate what waste we pump into the water and where we do it. Regardless of proximity to any specific environment, waste in the ocean will most likely spread to every area wherever we dump it. Any single piece of garbage has the potential to ruin the life of an animal, and thus picking up a single piece of trash on the beach could save the life of an animal. It's hard to combat the great amounts of pollution dumped into the ocean by companies and people across the world, but we can do our part on a small scale to help our tide pools and our oceans by extension.
The reserve is just one example of the California tide pool and strand ecosystem that is quite unique to our state. Because it is such a diverse and special environment, it requires special concern in regards to the conservation and care. The tide pool environment also supplements the surrounding forests and woodland, providing for wolves who eat the shellfish and invertebrates.
For the most part, physical garbage is contained in the Fitzgerald Marine Reserve because they spend a lot of time cleaning the beach area and managing pollution. Also, because the beach is mostly rocky and the preserve itself is a far drive up Highway 1, there aren't many people that visit Fitzgerald Marine Reserve. This makes it relatively clean compared to most of the surrounding beaches, but it is still affected by pollution.
By picking up trash when you see it, or writing to a governor or senator, you can make your voice heard and your actions seen, and help out the animals in our tide pools. It is not only important to their survival, but crucial to our own, as the ocean provides food for 3.5 billion people. We are blessed to be close in proximity to this beautiful and unique tide pool environment, and we should all do our part to take care of it.